Something is watching you. Just beyond the firelight, in the dark you cannot see. Eyes, not one pair, several. This is where your ancestors closed their eyes every night. Not in a room, not alone. On the ground, near a fire they could not afford to let die, with predators that had been tracking them since sunset. And they survived it, every single night, for hundreds of thousands of years. What they built around sleep was not a ritual, it was an architecture. And some of it is still running inside you right now. The first thing ancient humans needed before sleep was a perimeter. Fire was that perimeter, not for warmth first, for vision. A leopard does not enter firelight, neither does a hyena. The circle of light was the circle of safety. Step outside it and the rules changed. At Wonderwerk Cave in South Africa, researchers found evidence of controlled fire use going back roughly 1 million years. That is not campfire for cooking evidence. That is sleeping through the night evidence. Fire made sleep possible at ground level. Before reliable fire, the safest place to sleep was up. Chimpanzees still build fresh nests in trees every night. They bend branches, layer leaves, test the structure before lying down. It takes about 5 minutes. They do it every single night of their lives. Early humans likely did the same. But fire changed the calculation. Ground sleep became survivable. And ground sleep, it turns out, changed human sleep itself. Tree sleep is shallow. You cannot enter deep, slow wave sleep 30 feet in the air. Your body will not allow it. Ground sleep is different. Ground sleep lets you go deeper. And deeper sleep, researchers now believe, is part of why human cognition pulled away from other great apes. More consolidation, more memory, more processing, all of it unlocked by sleeping near a fire on the ground. But the fire had a problem. It required someone to be awake. Not formally, not by rotation, just naturally. In 2015, anthropologist Jerome Siegel and his team published a study in Current Biology. They tracked sleep patterns in 3 groups still living outside industrial schedules: the Hadza of Tanzania, the San of Namibia, the Tsimane of Bolivia. What they found broke the assumption that humans are built for consolidated nightly sleep. In every group, sleep was staggered. At almost any point during the night, someone in the group was awake or in light sleep. Not because they planned it, because human sleep cycles naturally desynchronize across individuals. Siegel called it the sentinel effect. The group, without organizing it, never left itself fully unconscious. There was always a lighter sleeper, always someone whose eyes would open at a sound. This was not inefficiency. This was the design. Think about what the night actually contained. Leopards are nocturnal hunters. Cave lions, now extinct, hunted the same campsites early humans used. Spotted hyenas are bold enough to take prey from sleeping animals. The African night was not quiet. It was a competition. And the humans who survived it were the ones whose groups stayed partially alert. The ones whose sleep cycles spread across the night like overlapping shifts. Nobody assigned guard duty. Evolution assigned it. Now look at where people actually slept. Not in a fixed spot, alone, facing away from the group. Bodies were close. In cold climates, they were pressed together. Shared heat was not affection, it was insulation. A body loses heat rapidly at night. A group of bodies loses it far slower. The ache of Paraguay, studied through the 20th century, slept in physical contact with family members as a default, not occasionally. As default, children slept between adults. The most vulnerable members slept toward the center. The outer ring was lighter sleepers. Adults who would surface faster at a sound. This positioning was not taught, it emerged. The same pattern appears across unconnected groups on different continents. There is something underneath culture doing this. And it gets stranger when you look at what the body was doing during that sleep. Ancient humans did not enter sleep the way we imagine sleep now. Darkness, silence, stillness, hours of unconsciousness. That version of sleep is very new. And it may not match what the brain was actually built for. Sleep researchers studying pre-industrial groups consistently find that sleep was lighter, more interrupted, more responsive to environment than the 8-hour consolidated model assumes. The brain during ancient sleep was never fully offline. Certain auditory processing stayed active. The sound of a branch breaking registered differently than wind. A familiar voice registered differently than an unknown one. The sleeping brain was still sorting, still filing threat from noise, still listening for the group. This is the part most people miss. Sleep was not a pause in survival. Sleep was survival operating on a different channel. The body horizontal, the brain still watching. You still have this. You wake at 3 in the morning for no reason. You lie still, listening. You cannot identify the sound that pulled you up. There was no sound. But your brain surfaced anyway. It does this because some part of your sleep architecture is still running the old code, still checking whether the fire is lit, still listening for the group, still sorting, threat or nothing. Modern sleep science calls this a disorder sometimes. Sleep maintenance insomnia, wakeful arousal. But the Hadza do not pathologize the person who surfaces at 2 in the morning. That person is the sentinel. That is the person who kept the group alive. Your locked bedroom is 80,000 years old at most. Your body is far older. The white noise machine, the blackout curtains, the sleep tracker on your wrist, all of them are trying to solve a problem that was never a problem. They are trying to make your body stop doing exactly what it evolved to do. Stay close to the group, stay light enough to surface, stay ready for the thing outside the light. You still sleep the way your ancestors slept, not in the bed, in the brain. And somewhere in the dark at the edge of your awareness, there is still something that needs watching.